Hey, how's it going, sexy felines? My name is M.C.I.K, or mycatiskyo, and welcome everybody back to another Warframe video. We're back here with number 3 of Honest Opinions. It's been a little bit of a wait, but not as bad as the last one, so hope you guys don't mind. As much as I do love making honest opinions for you guys, and I know that you guys really do enjoy them, I don't want to make them all the time because, you know, I feel like you guys would get annoyed by me telling you guys my opinions on everything all the time. It would get very repetitive. You'd be like, okay, Cole, no one gives a fucking shit. But regardless, we're going to be talking today about the Ignis. If you guys don't know what the Ignis is, it is the flamethrower in Warframe. The iconic, infamous flamethrower. And I say infamous because, well... We'll get into that in a little bit. Anyway, glad you guys can make it. Thank you so much for clicking in and tuning in. I hope you guys are having an awesome day. And without further ado, let's get into this honest opinion. I'm going to try to stay neutral as possible, meaning I'm not going to say it's shitty. I'm not going to be like, oh my god, it's so amazing. I kind of want to talk about it a little bit, go into the modding a little bit, talk about its late game and end game potential, and if that even exists. And talk about the stats as well. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so we're going to talk about pros and cons to the Ignis. The Ignis, if you guys don't know, is just a basic Grineer flamethrower, and it disperses any kind of element that you put on the weapon, whether it be corrosive or just pure heat at base. So for everyone who does not know, the way you actually get the Ignis is in your dojo research, specifically your Grineer lab research. And if your clan has already researched it, you can replicate the blueprint and get the blueprint for yourself for 15,000 credits. It's going to take 2 detonite injectors to build, 5,000 nanospores, 5,000 ferrite, 1 forma, and 30,000 credits. I'll be honest, when I first got my hands on this thing, I loved it, and I still kind of do. It's honestly a lot of fun to use. You really don't have to be that accurate with it. You don't really have to aim, to be honest. It's one of those spray and pray type weapons, and it really is quite a bit of fun to use. Before we get into any of that, let's take a look at the stats at base. So it's going to be a pure heat weapon, and that's going to be at 27. The status per second is going to be 25.0%, which is very nice and very high. You can get that almost up to 100% with the help of mods. The reload is only 2 seconds, which is pretty nice. The magazine is pretty damn massive at 150, so that is good. That is definitely a pro. The fire rate is 10. The critical chance is 5.0, so this is not going to be your go-to critting weapon. It's really not that good of a critting weapon. Critical multiplier is 2.0, and the accuracy, of course, is 100%. But, you know, you can spray and shit. Overall, the stats are pretty good. But just looking at this, you can kind of tell it's not going to do really well into late game or even end game, period. So, lately, a lot of people, and not even just lately, in general, throughout this last year, people have always come to me here and there and asked me, hey, do you have the Ignis, and is it good, and is it worth it to get? It's a double-edged sword. On one side, it's a lot of fun to use, and it really is enjoyable to use for mid-game. And on the other side, you really... This is my personal opinion, my honest opinion. I don't think this thing is able to go to late game or end game. Even with the best modding you can possibly get for this thing, I don't think it's a possibility. And I know it's very sad because this thing is a lot of fun to use. And I'm not disregarding that. It's a really good weapon. With a pure status build, it can be really good and very useful as well. But as for late game, it just takes a little bit too long to kill enemies, and you're sucking a lot of ammo. And at that point, it's not even worth to equip if you're going to go into, like, you know, a long survival for, you know, the void or something like that. We'll get back to that in a little bit. So, as for the modding that I have for this thing, it comes with no polarities. That definitely is a con. You're going to have to add all the polarities yourself. So, what I did was I added 4 forma to this. And I'm sure that a lot of other people added maybe 6 forma or 5 forma. I know, I could have gone more, but I was thinking to myself, what's the point? I've already been able to fit on all the mods that I need to, and it's not making an increase in damage at all. But regardless, it is still very fun. So anyway, I added 4 V polarities down at the bottom. Yeah, I know, kind of an overkill in V, but you know. So what I did was I went with Serration, I went with Heavy Caliber, and of course I had to go with Split Chamber. These 3 mods alone are your necessary mods to have, and it's going to bring up the heat damage to 212, so that is pretty nice. Still though, it is very low, and that's why it doesn't really scale too well into end game or late game. Next off, I threw on all of my dual element stat mods because I really wanted to get this thing up to a 100% status chance. With all of the stat mods on here, it brings it up to an 85.0% status chance per second, which is amazing. This is a really good weapon against infested, somewhat mid-game, close to late game, infested. This can be really good for them. So I would recommend going to corrosive and blast build. If you want to build up more corrosive, you can. What you can always do is you can add more corrosive to the electricity and toxic damage that are already there. You can always add like an infected clip to increase the corrosive. It is at 255 right now, and if you throw one on there, it brings it to 446. But to be honest, this is as much as I could do. I don't really know what else I can do for modding to make this thing deal more damage. We have all of the base damage mods on here, and yeah, I know I probably could swap out all of these ones for the actual element mods like these, the pure 90% damage mods. And you might be saying, Cole, that's how you deal more damage, but you're not going to be, because the status went down to 25% status chance, which is really bad. Not terrible, but you're not going to be proccing as much. The best way to use the weapon is with status. I mean, if you guys want to leave some comments down below as maybe ways to make this thing better and deal more damage, go for it. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. But as for mine, I just stick with the dual element stat mods. And I think it serves me really well. When you have all the element stat mods on here and the base mods, you're gonna have one empty slot, which I have in this case. And I really don't know what to put on. I could put on Firestorm and increase the range. I could put on Hammer Shot to make more status chance, which I might end up doing that anyway. That's not too bad. Hell, I could even add on Combustion Beam. And if you guys don't know what this mod does, basically whenever an enemy is killed using a sort of a beam type weapon, they're going to explode, dealing 600 damage. So this can be really good for, you know, leveling up things with Nova. Using this with Molecular Prime and the Ignis, and this mod is a very good combination. A lot of mass explosions, so this can be really good for that. But I think I'm just going to stick with the Hammer Shot for now. It's going to do more status, and I think all around that's going to be a little bit better. I do want to point out one really useful feature that I found with the Ignis, and the fact that it can go through walls, that alone is really, really nice. For a couple reasons. The first reason is for farming Iatan stars. This can be so helpful because you can just spray this thing around on the tile set if you have a good bit of range. If you add Firestorm and Sinister's Reach, Firestorm increases the radius and Sinister's Reach increases the reach of it. And yeah, this can be really helpful for farming Iatan stars in the void or wherever. Just spray this thing around the tile set and you're going to see a bunch of little icons start popping up. Another reason why this thing is good. I don't know if you guys have ever farmed the dual element stat mods, the Tether's Doom mods, the electricity and status chance mods. The way you farm those is you go to Eris and you do a hive mission, and you got to go find these caches. And the caches are a little bit hard to get to. Sometimes you have to blow up explosives to open doors, to open just containers and all that stuff. And this can be really helpful because sometimes you can't hit those explosives. But with this thing, you can go right through the wall and hit the explosive. So I thought I would mention that if you guys wanted a nice little way, an easier way to farm those. But yeah, overall, it's a really nice weapon. I wouldn't say it's solid because it really does not scale too well into end or late game. It does cost quite a bit to get a lot of mods on this thing. You have to put on at least 4 Forma and, you know, 5 optional. That's up to you if you really want to. So if you're a beginner to the game or somewhat new, I wouldn't recommend you guys get this just yet. I'd say get some other that are easier to mod out and, you know, get the playstyle for them. I'd say wait a little bit if you're already new to the game. And if I have anything else to say to end this video off, I would really say this for DE. I would really consider giving the Ignis a buff. I like the rework you did. I like you kind of redesigned it. It looks very nice now. Thank you very much, DE, for that. But I think the Ignis is in dire need of a buff. And I don't know what you guys think about that, but that's just my opinion. It could be a really good weapon. I mean, don't increase it so much to where it's OP and then you nerf the fuck out of it. But with that being said, give it a little bit of more of an edge. Something that can make it go into a little bit into late game, at least. Not even end game, just something that can make it go into late game. Anyway, guys, that's gonna about do it. Thank you so much for watching the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this week's, I guess this month's honest opinion. God, it takes me forever to get these videos out. I'm so sorry. Have an amazing day. I'll see you guys for tomorrow's video. And yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys had an amazing Halloween, and yeah, thank you so much for watching the video, guys. Hope you guys have an awesome day and had an awesome day. Or last thing I want to say is that we are probably almost, I think either we're in November out now, or we're almost in November. I'm not sure when this video is going to be going up. Either way, I want to give a big thank you to a person that DM'd me in Instagram, Dustin Clifford. Thank you very much, dude. He DM'd me and he was telling me about how Rebecca had sort of like a sit down with someone from one of these gaming information news sites. And now, from what we know, The War Within will be coming out on November 9th. So mark your calendars, guys. Get ready. That's when the bitch is coming. I really hope they don't delay it again. But yeah, if all goes well, it should be on November 9th. So I'm excited, guys. I hope you guys are too. Anyway, thanks for watching. Peace out. Have an awesome day and shit. And remember to lube your, better yet, just lube your cat. Get his little nice little pink asshole ready for your 5-inch dick.
Grab that shit, it's yours, bitch. Grab it, dick, it's yours, bitch.
Oh,
let me
shit!
Check it out. Check it out. Pick that motherfucker. Bring it down, bitch. Let me see. till you back it up. Put that ass down low and pick that motherfucker up. Now back that pussy, she's a motherfucker. Hey, back that pussy, she's a motherfucker.
They're just trying to
Now back that
teleport?
pussy, she's a motherfucker. Hey,
Oh,
back
God.
that pussy, she's a motherfucker.